everyone. Welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. My name is Sia Nejad, otherwise known as the Counselor of Cash, and we've got a great show for you today. However, we've had some great recap screens today. Not so much. We were coming off 8-0 and then 9-5-1, and now 2-4. Shout out to Calvin. The Lynx won by about infinity. That was minus 3.5. Buckets hits his bet as well, but baseball goes 0-4. So our recap screen is 2-4. I will say that 2-4 could have been 4-2 very easily, but they are 4 losses. Let's bring in some winners right now because we got to bounce back in baseball. We've got WNBA to talk about, the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. We've got the Memorial with Brady Kannon. Amags, I see you shaking your head. I was shaking my head last night too, watching the Angels blow it, watching the Dodgers leave men on base. How you feeling today, buddy? Is it Bounce Back Tuesday?
I hope so. I mean, I'm after last night, I'm reeling a little bit there. Not only did the Angels give up 5 runs in the 8th inning to kill our bet, they then tied the game in the bottom of the 8th and gave it right back in the 9th. Freddie Freeman with an early RBI and then does nothing the rest of the game. What a terrible night to watch baseball. So yeah, let's move on to today.
Brady Kannon, you're here to talk Memorial. You even have a U.S. Open long shot for a couple of weeks from now. But I got to tell you, there were a lot of people singing your praises in the Sportsline Discord because you were all over that leaderboard on Sunday. How you feeling?
Oh, my goodness. That's a tough one to lose, right? You talk about the Angels in baseball. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys know going in, heading into the final round at the Colonial, the Charles Schwab, I had previewed the guy that was in first place, the guy that was in second place, and the guy that was in third place. None of them came home. I lost in a playoff, of course. Eric Cole loses to Russell Henley. But yeah, you couldn't have had a much better pre-tournament handicap, but we'll see if we can bounce back, just like Amags. You know, this is the business about bouncing back.
Yeah, I had Alex Smalley. I know he finished 1 back, but honestly, you should have hit Eric Cole. Russell Henley birding the last 3 and then birding the playoff. Yeah. It's just those are circumstances you can't defeat there. Calvin Wetzel, so easy yesterday. You got another WNBA pick for us?
I do. I wish the Lynx played again because they have been so easy for the last couple of weeks. That Commissioner's Cup line that was plus 900 on the show yesterday is down to plus 600, and I still think you can get on it. But I do have another play on another team later today.
Calvin, I love futures. And when you said that the Lynx were plus 900, I just went and bet it right after the show. And so I got that number. I'm happy with it. Sounds like plus 600, still some pretty good value. Jeff Hochman, we got the Stanley Cup Finals. Do you have an NHL pick tonight?
I do have an NHL pick tonight. And speaking of bouncing back, it looks like the LA Rams are going to bounce back with that big trade yesterday of Myles Garrett. Wow, there's a lot of buzz out here in Southern California. Plus 550 the Rams are to win it all. You're going to get good value on some other teams, that's for sure.
That's true. And maybe later in the show, let us know in the chat how much you like that trade for the Rams. They did have to give up Jared Verse. So, I mean, it's not like they gave up nothing. Yeah. I had an exact I put out yesterday. It was the Rams over the Bengals at 90-1. It's now 78-1. Hours later, it changed. But everybody, if you have any NFL commentary from the trade or who you think is going to win the Super Bowl, definitely put it in the chat. Maybe later in the show, Brady, we can talk some NFL with you and Jeff. But let's get to some picks. Amags, let's bounce back. I've got a first 5 pick for everybody, and you've got a pick on Miguel Vargas.
Yeah, Miguel Vargas, and my fantasy team needed him last night. 2 home runs, 10 total bases, just an incredible effort from him last night. And the one thing that we've been continually talking about in the Sportsline Discord has been just how much he's crushed left-handed pitching. Now, last night against Joe Ryan came against a righty, but tonight against the lefty and Connor Pralip, who for the Twins here, they actually just faced him back on the 27th. So, his last time through the rotation has got to go the back-to-back against a White Sox team here that, they can hit left-handed pitching, but even their lefties can hit left-handed pitching. It was Colson Montgomery who really did the damage last time. And I think that tonight here, it could be Vargas. Miguel Vargas over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at a very palatable price, minus 110. That's my bet there on BetMGM at the 2+ alternate level. That's where you can find that minus 110 number. Nice little discount. And it's been about Vargas just crushing the lefties. If you look here against left-handed pitching, it's 7 homers and 61 at-bats, a 328 average, and an over 1,200 OPS. So at least a couple of at-bats here against the lefty. And I do like the White Sox. Last night was just terrible. A terrible loss for them. Too many runs given up, right? But when you look at the hits, they were evenly matched with the hits. It was just the runs that were the issue. So I think tonight, with a much better pitcher here and Davis Martin on the mound for them, I like the White Sox. But I didn't want to bring too many picks after what happened yesterday. So let's stick with Miguel Vargas and just get it done against a lefty.
Hey, Max, I don't think anybody is going to bat an eyelash if you have too many picks or too few picks. Everybody thinks and knows you're super sharp. You're living in the Sportsline Discord, helping people out. Losing a couple here or one there, not a big deal in the scheme of things. Jason Herod is in the chat. He says, let's have a day. And hey, Max, this is for you, by the way. He says, looking for a Cardinals Texas play. Heading to the game today with my high school kid to get the Mark McGwire backyard bobblehead. Jason Herod has been in this chat and been part of this Early Edge family for quite some time. So, hey, Max, maybe later in the show, we can get him something for that game. Cooking with Buckets. New person that I'm seeing in the chat here says, hello, this is my first time viewing. I'm a big fan of Sia. Sia, it's my first time viewing. Could I get a shout out from Sia, please? Yes, Cooking with Buckets. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Make sure you subscribe to the Sportsline YouTube channel and smash that like button. Thanks again for being in here. All right, let's get to some more picks. Jeff Hochman, the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, remember I had that Montreal future that I was cheering for at 14-1, and they were up 1-0. And then Carolina just absolutely, well, game 2 was close. Game 3 was close. And then they just absolutely took care of business. Are they taking care of business in game 1 against Vegas?
Yes, Sia. Hopefully. -149, I got it at Sportsline. It's up to -150 right now at BetMGM. They are hanging the best number, so go get that one. Look, it's not breaking news. We all know how good Carolina is, right? They finished first in both regular season shots allowed and shot differential, +675. In the playoffs, they're leading all teams in 5-on-5 shot attempt percentage and offensive zone time. They've spent most of the year atop my power rankings. They've been 1 or 2 all season long. They're 12-1 this postseason. Their only loss came after an 11-day break versus Montreal in game 1, as Sia mentioned. But now a 3-day pause is routine for them. Now that's a stark contrast to Vegas. They've been off 6 days, and it certainly feels longer than that. And here's the thing. The Hurricanes didn't have an easy road either. They went through the 16th toughest schedule in a really stacked Eastern Conference. If you compare that to Vegas, who had an easier path, their strength of schedule was 29th in a very weakened Western Conference. The Knights only put up 39 wins, had to get past Utah and Anaheim in 6 games, then face an Avs team missing key players. And if you look over the last 10 games, Vegas has been outshot in 9 of them. They're -45 in shot differential through 16 playoff games. Carolina is +148. Now, opening the series in Raleigh allows Rod Brindamore the luxury of the final line change. That's big. He can dictate exactly who to deploy, against Vegas's top weapons. And don't worry that Vegas went 2-0 versus Carolina in the regular season. Both games were in October. Carolina wasn't at full strength. And heck, Montreal went 3-0 versus Carolina in the regular season, and Carolina ousted them in 5 games. The last Stanley Cup winner to win the Cup with a full 82-game season with having just 39 victories in the regular season was back in 1992-1993, the Montreal Canadiens. So I think Vegas is really up against it in game 1, and I think they're up against it for the series. So let's play both. Game 1, -149. For the series, you can find them right at -150, -155.
Jeff, we've got some follow-up questions, which we'll go throughout the show. There's a couple I want to get to, but Brady, let me bring you in. I don't think you cap hockey in any appreciable way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you live in Vegas. I'm wondering, is there a vibe in Vegas like, hey, they underestimated us against Colorado and they're going to underestimate us again? We've got a really good shot at winning this, or do they think they're going up against the Titan? Oh, I think you might be on mute, Brady. Oh, yeah. Okay.
The vibe is certainly electric with this now our 3rd Stanley Cup final in 9 years of existence. I mean, we are absolutely spoiled out here. And it surprised the heck out of me, and I think everybody, that not only did they get past Colorado, but swept them. I mean, that was crazy. And I totally agree with Jeff, unfortunately. The rest, I think, is really going to hurt Las Vegas. And this Carolina team, it looks like they have finally, gotten over the hump where they had struggled so mightily in the conference finals. I think they lost 15 conference finals games in a row. But boy, they look like a juggernaut this year. I think we should have a good finals on our hands, but I tend to agree with Jeff. I would say Carolina in 6 would be my guess.
Yeah, well, Jeff, we did a show yesterday on CBS Sports Network, which, by the way, is on the Sportsline YouTube channel. And you and Tom Casale, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, said Carolina in 6.
Yeah, we both had the same prediction. Yeah. Look, I see Rick Funcannon, one of our regulars. He's asking about the 60-minute line. So I like to play the 60-minute line when the actual money line is higher. I think at minus 149, I think it's just safer to play that, because there is a chance it could go to, overtime. Vegas has played 17 overtime games this year and lost, they've lost 17 in overtime. So yeah, I don't like the 60-minute line, but I can see why you would at plus money.
Okay, we've got more NHL questions from Gipper's Picks, The Solution. We're going to get to those in just a little bit. I do want to tell you about a Stanley Cup promotion courtesy of BetMGM. BetMGM players will receive a Stanley Cup playoff odds boost token. Just make a wager on tonight's game to activate the boost token. If you win, you'll receive extra winnings in unrestricted bonus dollars. Programming reminder, I talked about the NHL preview we did yesterday. It's on the Sportsline YouTube channel. We also did that for the NBA yesterday, again, on the Sportsline YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Today, we're doing a World Cup preview between 12 and 1 o'clock. I'll be hosting and dishing out zero knowledge, but Cooking with Buckets will be there. We'll have Brad Thomas will be on there, and Martin Green will be on that show. 12 to 1, the whole hour is a World Cup preview. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got so much more to get to, including our home run chart. We've got a WNBA pick. We've got my first 5 pick and a lot of questions in the chat. Up next, it's going to be Calvin right after this message from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ hits every highlight from all the sports that matter to you.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, streaming free 24/7.
We're back on the early edge, and we turn to the WNBA. Calvin, yesterday was sweat-free. We certainly don't expect all of the bets to be like that, but that was a nice one. As I kept looking at the scoreboard, and the links were up like 28, 30. I mean, geez, the line was 2.5 and then 3.5, which is where you gave it out. Talk to me about a big dog tonight.
Yeah, we took the best team in the league yesterday. We are pivoting and taking possibly the worst team in the league today. The Connecticut Sun are plus 14 in Atlanta against the Dream. But to me, this one is about the return of Layla Lacan, who came back last game after finishing her season in the French league overseas. And in that game, Connecticut opened at plus 6.5, closed at plus 3.5, and won outright. If you go back to last year, Lacan's rookie year, she joined the team in the middle of the season. Before that, they were historically bad, one of the worst WNBA teams of all time. After she joined the team, they were, I'll say, normal bad. They were sort of able to hold their own with some middle-of-the-road teams, which was a huge improvement. So including the other day and going back to last year, the Sun are 17-9 against the spread with Lacan in the lineup. Just what she does for creating offense for this team when no one else really can, both for herself and her teammates. Last year, she led the league in steal rate, so really can get it done on both ends. And the Sun have the biggest gap in terms of their three-point shooting and opponent three-point shooting, which obviously you're a bad team. That's going to happen. But I also think there's a little bit of variance, a little bit of poor shooting luck involved in that as well. And especially when you bring back a player like Layla Lacan, I think they're due for some positive regression in the shooting department. And this is a big line. We don't need the Sun to really keep this super close to cover this line. They can lose by double digits. We just need them to lose by 11, 12, or 13. A lot of books are at 13.5 with some good juice like minus 105. I would take that as well. There's a plus 14 out there at minus 110 that I would prefer. But I think this ends in more of the lower double digits than the mid-teens. So we could get a back door too if we need it. So I'm taking the Connecticut Sun and trusting them to not get completely blown out tonight.
All right, Connecticut Sun plus 14 at minus 110. We got to get to your PGA analysis, Brady, but real quick, let's mix in some baseball questions. As we have a lot of questions in the chat. Keep them coming. We'll answer as many as we can. I am Stanek, Amags says Dustin May over 4.5 Ks is around minus 120. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I was looking at that one. Interesting. I would lean to the over there. I don't have him as like a super great projection, but been much better with some of the strikeouts of late. What about like Dustin May, 4 strikeouts, Nathan Eovaldi, 5 parlay? Take them each down off their line. Because I do like Eovaldi tonight as well.
How about the Reds minus 126? We have Steve Folkerts and Rick Funcannon asking about their money line.
Yeah, I think Rick mentioned that like at 4 a.m. or something like that. Rick like put it in the Discord so early. So shout out to Rick for always giving us his plays. And yeah, Andrew Abbott against Noah Cameron. As many people know, I am not a Noah Cameron guy. I like to bet against him, and you get the Reds at home. And just looking at these two teams, Reds have been one of the best against lefties this year, and the Royals have not. So I do side with the Reds.
All right, we'll get back to some baseball questions. I have a first 5 to give out. We got our home run chart. But Brady, what's so interesting is I'm looking at your picks right now. Now, you have a fade candidate, which we can touch on, but you've got an outright winner you want to give out on this show. Of course, you'll have more outright winners in your article and in the Sportsline Discord. You've got an early U.S. Open long shot. What's so interesting about your outright winner, and I'm not going to spoil it, this is a guy I never bet. But when I did my research and I did my modeling, and I'm not done doing that yet, we'll be on tonight at 7 o'clock with our best bets on the early wedge. But first of all, Matt Fitzpatrick came to mind. That's probably going to be a bet for me. And then there were 3 names that I was just considering betting. Patrick Cantlay kind of was one of them, but then I just kind of scooted him over to the side. It was Alex Smalley, who I've been on. I wouldn't mind betting again. Ben Griffin, who's just playing really good and really well and was second here last year. And the other one, a guy I truly never bet, and it just makes me feel super uncomfortable. But he was on my list of 4. So talk to me about your outright winner.
Yeah, Mr. Jordan Spieth. How about that? I've actually been on him a couple times recently. I was on him for the Masters and I was on him for the PGA Championship. And he did what Jordan Spieth has really done this entire year, and that's finish around 15th. Half of his starts this season, he's had 14 starts. In half of them, he has finished somewhere between 11th and 19th. So he is just consistently in that top 20, top 15 neighborhood. And it's really about putting his skill set together for all 4 rounds. He hasn't been able to do it for 4 days. He's been very respectable with those top 20 finishes. He's putting well. He's scrambling well. He's been very good off the tee. He ranks 69th on tour in strokes gained approach. He's doing everything very, very well. He's just got to put it all together for 4 days and, graduate from that top 15 finish into a top 5, which could possibly translate into a victory. And there we go with Jordan Spieth. And we continue, Sia, as you know, to get big numbers on him because it's been a while since he's won. You're getting Jordan Spieth probably this week at a minimum of 40-1. I got 53-1 here in Las Vegas at Circa. I think there's probably some 50s out there. I know there's plenty of 45s, but this guy has a tremendous history at this golf tournament. Jack Nicklaus built this golf course, Muirfield Village. He named it after his favorite Open Championship venue, Muirfield. He was inspired by the design by his favorite golf course, Augusta National, where he won the Masters 6 times. And we know Jordan Spieth has been a magician at the Masters, and it's transferred over here to Jack's place. The greens are firm and fast and undulated like Augusta National. The fairways are relatively wide like Augusta. It's a great U.S. Open test with some very thick rough bordering these fairways. But if you look at what Spieth has done in his career at this tournament, 7th, 5th, a couple of 18th place finishes, a couple of 13th place finishes, another 7th, another 3rd, and a 19th. So he has been money at this golf course for a long period of time throughout his career. And it just feels like he is on the precipice of, again, knocking that door down and getting from that 15th place to possibly the top of the board, Sia.
All right, Brady. I like the Jordan Spieth call. I may end up being on that with you. Touch on me. Give me 30 seconds on an early U.S. Open long shot at 200-1.
Yeah, I've seen him anywhere from 100 to 150 to 200, and that is Daniel Berger. He is kind of the consummate U.S. Open type player, right? He's won at Pebble Beach. He's won at Colonial. I think Shinnecock has a lot of correlation to British Open type courses. The wind, that heather, that fescue rough. You know, we saw it in 2018 when Brooks Koepka won. And by the way, who finished sixth that week? Daniel Berger. He has also finished 8th at Royal St. George's, which I believe is an open championship venue that correlates quite a bit to Shinnecock. He's great on approach, 10th on tour this year in strokes gained approach. He's very accurate off the tee. Again, he has that U.S. Open type game, does Daniel Berger, and he's been there and done that before at not only these courses, but correlated courses. So I just thought the price, I don't necessarily love 100 to 1, but I would say 150 or better. Daniel Berger's worth a shot, Sia.
Yeah, Daniel Berger at 100, north of 125, 150 is a pretty great number to sprinkle. Again, these numbers are fun, right? Because you can put a couple bucks down on it almost literally and feel like you're in pretty good shape with the return. All right, I'm going to return to the first 5 market. Of course, I went with the Dodgers over 2.5 total runs. Excuse me, first 5 runs yesterday. But I'm just going to take a money line winner, and it's going to be Steven Matz, which I do kind of brace myself when I do that. That, of course, would be the Rays' first 5. But they're going up against Detroit and Jack Flaherty. Now, Jack Flaherty is winless on the year. I don't necessarily want to hold that against him because that can be very circumstantial. I want to look at his ERA, his expected ERA, some of the advanced metrics, barrel rate, things of that nature. With all of that said, Jack Flaherty and Steven Matz are pretty comparable when you look at the stats. But the reason I like this with the Rays at home, who have been very good at home, by the way, at minus 130 in the first 5, is that they're much more likely to hit at home than Detroit. Detroit, not good against lefties, not good on the road. Really haven't, outside of yesterday, haven't been producing a lot of runs. So I really like the spot that the Rays are in. They've been slumping a little bit, at least for the Rays, they've been slumping a little bit. I think this is a really good bounce back spot. Steven Matz, hoping he keeps the walks to a minimum, hoping he keeps the home runs to a minimum. I think he'll make a mistake or two, but I also think the Rays are going to get on Jack Flaherty. So I like this first 5 money line minus 130. Let's get to the home run chart, and then Amags will get some reaction from you to this home run chart. Nolan Arenado, he went the yard yesterday, plus 511 versus plus 680. Jonathan Aranda, plus 404 versus plus 474. And O'Neal Cruz, plus 411 versus plus 423. Amags, your reaction?
Hey, I always side with whatever the model here has given us because they have just been crushing it. I got to say, the 3 guys I had yesterday were James Wood, Tyler Stevenson, and Joe Adell. None of them hit a home run. So I bet they all hit a home run today.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's get to some hockey questions, Jeff Hochman. We've got Gipper's Picks, who says Carolina money line plus Hart 24 plus saves is plus 120. Do you like that? And also a lot of people asking about the total in this game of 5.5.
Yeah, with Gipper Picks, I wouldn't go against him. No way. He's super sharp, so I agree with that. And as far as the total goes, yes, I love the under 5.5. I don't see many goals scored in this game or any other game in the series, especially when it's right around even money. I thought it should have been juiced to like minus 120. If I can shout out Eugene 3484, Sia, he said, new to hockey, and I actually love it. And I get that a lot. And if you want to really love hockey, go see a game live. It is a tremendous experience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no question about that. And these will be really good. Regardless of the outcome, I think this is going to be really good atmosphere in Carolina, in Vegas for this Stanley Cup Finals, like it normally is in the playoffs. Hey, Mags, I want to go to you because I know we're waiting. There's a couple of questions, but I know we're waiting on the Cardinals play, which I don't know if you have something in there for the person asking about that. But also, did I forget to give out the Sportsline pick? Let me give that out right now, too, because it's from Prop Bet Guy. It's Davis Martin over 5.5 Ks at plus 121. Again, Davis Martin over 5.5 Ks plus 121. That one courtesy of Prop Bet Guy. Hey, Mags, anything in that Cardinals game?
Yeah, so why not what we talked about already? I just was throwing it together here. We had a little question there on Dustin May and Nathan Eovaldi strikeouts. So what about just taking them each down off of their full line? Of course, Dustin May at 4.5 strikeouts, so put him at 4 strikeouts. Nathan Eovaldi's at 5.5, put him at 5. you're going to get plus 105 on MGM for that. I do like that price. You're minus 130 or worse on some other books for the same parlay. So have a little same game parlay, 2 pitchers to strike out some batters.
We've got a question from Ramo. Thoughts on Gunnar Henderson today up against Early in Boston?
Yeah, I really don't have much on him in the left-on-left matchup. So not much for Ramo, but he did ask a few other questions, and I don't know if he was the one, but how about another left-on-left matchup? We had a question about JJ Bleday. I like that one a whole lot more. He's been better against lefties. Noah Cameron really hasn't been great against lefties. So how about Bleday in the left-on-left? I'll pass on Henderson, though.
All right, and finally, Carson Baddeley says, Logan Gilbert over 17.5 outs. It's minus 153, though.
Yeah, I said, look, I lean to the over, but I don't like the price. I think it's too deep, and for me, it's just like a pass, stay off at that price. So if you like that one, though, maybe hang around. You might see an 18.5, and if you think he's going to do well, he could push into the 7th inning, and you get some, plus 130 out there or something for that instead.
I'll give you one more, Amags. Washington over total runs 4.5 at even money.
Wow, I really hadn't done too much on the team totals today, so I don't have much there. You're getting a bullpen game here from the Marlins, right? We'll see. I'll have to dive into who would be the long reliever. I really don't have much on that one, but hey, look, as I always say, you're asking about something that's plus 100 odds. Like, you're probably not going to go broke betting into something at those odds that you like, so go for it.
Calvin, I think the Nationals are the #1 team in baseball to go over the total. So, that would be
to go over their total.
Yeah,
right.
They've been hitting.
Not the team total, just their games going over.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
They score a lot and they give up a lot.
Yeah,
it's a good combo.
I wouldn't doubt if they were up there on the team totals too, though.
Right,
just some lower numbers for them a lot of times as well too. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Sia, can I ask Amags a question?
Yeah.
So I know before the season started, you and I both like the Pirates. And I believe in the Discord, you gave out O'Neal Cruz over his home run prop, right? Was it 21.5?
I have it right here. I think it might have been, with 21.5.
And he's got,
it might have been 20.5 actually, but yeah.
He's got what, 10 or 11 this year so far?
I'm just trying to get into my account here.
Yeah,
so
I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. You're all good. But yes, I think he's actually more than that now. He hit another one the other day. But we're certainly getting there. And every time in the Discord that he hits a home run, I will come in and I'll just say Cruz missile. So he's at 13 now, actually.
Yeah.
So
I think you're going to cash that. And I kind of like him to hit a home run tonight. I really do.
Yeah, he was on the home run chart.
Yeah.
On the home run chart. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, maybe that'll be a group ride. Speaking of the group, I think we're featuring something on tomorrow's show that we have yet to debut. Larry was in the chat talking about it. I think I know what he's talking about, and it involves all of you in the chat and in the Sportsline Discord. So make sure you keep your ears and eyes open on the Wednesday Early Edge show for that. Ricardo Hernandez says, see you to say that's interesting at 3.5 over minus 125. That should probably be minus 155 if we're being honest, Ricardo. I'll have to come up with something different than that's interesting. I think we can get to the recap screen. Hand up. Oh, go ahead, Jeff Hochman.
Yeah, we're also doing a Best Bets Belmont Steak show tomorrow. It'll be on tomorrow in your feed, and then on Friday the network show. Gene and I are going to be on there talking horse racing among other things, right?
Awesome. Yeah, I think so. And a lot of those shows, just so everybody knows, get put over on the Sportsline YouTube channel. They get clipped up and put over there. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're looking out for some of that content, because it's not just the Early Edge morning show that's over on the Sportsline YouTube channel. And by the way, that includes the Early Wedge tonight at 7 o'clock for the best bets for the Memorial. All right, let's get to the recap screen, and then we'll get everyone out of here. Rays first 5 money line minus 130. That's my play. Miguel Vargas over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs minus 110 from Amags. The Sun, Connecticut Sun plus 14 at minus 110 from Calvin Wetzel. Then we go to the Memorial outright, Jordan Spieth at 53-1. And how about an early U.S. Open long shot, Daniel Berger, 200 4-1. Finally, NHL Stanley Cup Finals tonight. We had a lot of chat questions. We answered those, but the Carolina Hurricanes money line -149. And we've got a sports line pick from prop bet guy Davis Martin over 5.5 Ks at +121. Again, that one courtesy of prop bet guy Nolan Arenado, Jonathan Aranda, and O'Neal Cruz. I'm going to say it again. O'Neal Cruz is one of the top MLB home run plays, courtesy of Jacob Fettner and the Inside the Lines crew. What a great show. We'll see you at 12 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. We'll see you at 7 o'clock for the early wedge. And oh, by the way, you NBA fans that are wondering, hey, they're still going to do live shows and shows for the NBA Finals and through the NBA Finals? The answer to that is yes. All you got to do is make sure you're subscribed to the Sportsline YouTube channel, and you may want to turn your notifications on just in case we pop up unexpectedly. Brady Kannon, Calvin Wetzel, Jeff Hochman, Amags, thank you very much. A big thank you to Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. We'll see you later on today, folks. Have a great Tuesday. And until then, we rest our case.
When you need